Hello everyone, welcome to the very first episode of this podcast series. I'm Cherry, and starting today, we are launching a podcast where we talk about American politics. Now, you might be wondering why I decided to start this. The reason is simple. The voices of ordinary Americans are getting harder and harder to hear. So, this podcast is my way of pushing back. I will keep speaking when others stay silent. And in every episode, we will take one topic and explore it in depth. Because what happens in this country doesn't just affect Americans anymore, it affects the entire world. So, stay with me because we have a lot to talk about. Today's topic is ICE. They completely lost control. Day after day, disturbing news keeps coming out, and here is the important part. I'm not just here to read headlines. We are gonna talk about what is behind these stories, why they happen, and who is responsible. Let's start with the latest incident. Recently in Minneapolis, two innocent people lost their lives. Two people. They were unarmed. They were not resisting. Video footage and witness accounts make that very clear. And yet, just like we have seen before, officials are protecting their agents and refusing to take responsibility. And that is the problem, because this is not an isolated case anymore. It's a pattern. Every single time, it's the same story. An incident happens, people react, authorities go on the defensive, and in the end, no one is held accountable. Now, let's stop for a second and think about this. In a country like the United States, how logical is it to treat immigrants this way? And here's the part that makes the situation even more disturbing. The people who died in Minneapolis were not even immigrants, they were American citizens. Which means ICE can't even stand behind its own justification anymore. Because innocent people are now losing their lives in their own country, on their own streets. Maybe it's time to step back and remember what America actually is. America is a nation of immigrants. That is not a slogan, that's a fact. You can go to Japan, but you cannot become Japanese. You can go to Germany, but you cannot become German. But you can go Turkey, you cannot become Turkish. But you can come to America and you can become American. Do you know who said that? Ronald Reagan, the legendary Republican president himself. That sentence captured the spirit of America. And now the very people who claim to represent his political legacy are tearing that spirit apart. America's strength has always come from its openness. People from every corner of the world came here, they worked, they built business, they created. And together they built one of the most powerful economies and most influential cultures in human history. Immigrants made that possible. More than half of the companies in Silicon Valley were founded by immigrants or the children of immigrants. American music, American cinema, American food, all of it comes from this incredible mixture of cultures. Rejecting that legacy is not just morally wrong, it's also economically short-sighted. Now let's talk about ICE in this context. If your goal is border security, there are ways to achieve that. You can strengthen border oversight, you can focus on illegal crossing points, you can reform the visa system. These are things we can debate, discuss, and actually solve. But killing unarmed people in the streets doesn't solve immigration. It doesn't deter anything. All it does is spread fear. Fear among immigrants, fear within communities, fear throughout society, and eventually that fear reaches everyone. The Trump administration's approach to this issue has been inconsistent and dangerous from the very beginning. They ran their campaign under the slogan "MEGA", Make America Great Again. But look around, are the streets safer? No. Are people more secure? Absolutely not. Is America more respected around the world? You would love to love. This administration has opened the door to chaos, deepened political divisions, and forced people to question the very foundations of American democracy. Those who relied voters with the mega slogan have made the streets less safe, people more anxious, and Americans more uncertain about their future. So where is the greatness they promise? In the economy? No. In foreign policy? Or in domestic security? No. Minneapolis proves that. In future episode, we will keep talking about America because understanding what's happening and talking about it openly is the responsibility of every citizen. Silence doesn't create change. That's why this podcast exists. That's why I'm here. And that's why you are listening. That's all for today. Thank you for being here for the very first episode. Stay tuned for the next one, and if you found this conversation meaningful, share it with someone around you, because those conversations matter and those voices deserve to be heard. Until next time.